I'm Shino from Indiana University, and it's my pleasure to present our work, Characterizing Smartwatch Usage in the Wild. So, also thanks to my colleague from Purdue University and Chinese Academy of Science. So, wearable computers are bringing computing into our daily lives, and among the smartwatches are probably among the most popular devices. So, smartwatches offer convenience to end users. Through a wide range of features, such as receiving push notifications, issuing voice control, monitoring fitness, and interacting with third-party applications. So despite the popularity of this device, the research community still lacks understanding of the smartwatch ecosystem, and some key questions still unclear. For example, how users interact with the smartwatch. How energy efficient is smartwatch? Can we optimize the battery usage? And what is the network behavior? And let me first introduce the user study infrastructure. So to answer previous questions, we conduct a cross-source measurement study involving 27 smartwatch users. And we try to maximize their diversity in terms of occupation, gender, and age. So we give every user an eligible name smartwatch. And there is one problem with this during the deployment. That is, a lot of users does not have a lot of experiences using smartwatch. And we use two methods to address this problem. And first, we require all the users to attend the orientation session, where we walk through all the smartwatch features. And second, we start the actual data collection 2 months after we give the smartwatch to the users. And this ensures enough time for them to develop their usage habits. So we also build some contained data collector to collect all the information we need. And the data collector is transparent to the user. And it has negligible downtime, which maintains the completeness of the collected data. The data collector is also very lightweight and does not consume noticeable CPU and energy overhead. So with the data collector, we collected a 106 days data set, and the collected information are listed in the table here. So notice that most of the data items are collected using event-triggered callbacks, and this again explains the low overhead incurred by the data collector. So with the data collected, we mainly focus on 3 key aspects of the smartwatch, which are usage patterns, energy profiles, and network traffic. And let's first start with the usage patterns. So as shown in this figure here, an Android smartwatch can be in one of 4 states, which are dozing, awake, sleeping, and charging. So during most of the time the user wears the watch, it stays in dozing mode, and where applications are suspended. So meanwhile, only a simplified watch face is displayed with low brightness level. So the transition from awake to dozing is controlled by a short inactive timer. The transition from dozing to awake is triggered either by user interaction or external events. And if the watch is not worn, it will enter sleeping from dozing after a long timeout. And finally, the transition to charging mode is done by attaching the watch to the charging dock. So according to our data set, actually half of the time the watch is dozing. And meanwhile, only 2% of the overall usage period, the watch is in a awake state. We further break the wake state into wake-up sessions and find out that most of the wake-up sessions are very short, with a median value of only 5 seconds. Also, most of the wake-up sessions are very frequent, since an average user will have 72 wake-ups per day. So the takeaway here is that the dozing and sleeping mode dominate the usage period, and wake-up state only accounts for 2% of the overall usage period. And meanwhile, the wake-up sessions are pretty short but frequent. So push notification is another important feature of the smartwatch. And according to our data set, the push notifications are dominated by instant messaging and emails. So we observe more than 200 phone side application push notifications to the watch. And an average user will receive 40 notifications per day. So we further ask the question that how predictable are push notifications? And we find that it is very difficult to predict in the long term, but however, when we look at the short term, the push notification shows very strong bursting pattern with a median interval arrival time of only 49 seconds. Also, we find that many phone site applications employ very simple logic to determine whether or not to push a notification. So, for example, the Google Map in navigation mode, the Google Map keeps sending turn-by-turn updates to the smartwatch. This is unnecessary and may distract the user since the phone is already mounted to the dashboard for navigation. So we also identified other scenarios. The push notification is not energy efficient or having logic bugs. So for more details, please refer to our paper. So the takeaway for push notification is that it is used by more than 200 phone site applications, and push notifications are dominated by instant messaging and emails. The push notification also has strong bursting patterns, and we need to improve their delivery by rethinking how to push and when to push. So as most of the people already know that the smartwatch itself can run third-party applications. According to our dataset, the average number of applications installed on a smartwatch is 18 across all the users. And we further look at activity and service execution profiles. So for people who are not familiar with the terms, the activity is a visible user interface, and the service runs in the background without user interface. So surprisingly, we find that the service execution duration is much more longer than activity duration, and 70% of the service execution is pretty short. So the takeaway here is that on smartwatch, we observe a wide spectrum of apps are installed, and their execution are dominated by short background services. And we next look at the energy consumption of the smartwatch. And in this part, we first derive fine-grained power models for two commercial Android smartwatches. And we then apply the power model to our dataset to get an energy profile in the wild. And finally, we study optimization methods to improve the energy efficiency of the smartwatch. So to measure the energy of the smartwatch and to derive the power model, we extract a compatible battery interface from a same vendor smartphone. We then use the interface as an adapter between the watch and the monsoon power monitor. So when we're measuring a component, we keep other components offline or at a steady power state. For components involving parameters, we use regression to derive a model as a function of that parameter. So we derived a comprehensive power model for two commercial smartwatch devices, and I will leave the details in paper. So to calculate the energy consumption in the wild, we use the collected user study trees as the input for the power model, and after post-processing, we can get an energy utilization statistics in the wild. So the figure here shows a fine-grained energy breakdown among all the users. And compared to smartphone, the network incurs very small energy consumption on smartwatch. And at component level, the CPU and display are the two most significant energy consumers. And notice that despite the screen is very small on smartwatch, it still contributes a lot of energy. The Delta state consumes around half of the overall energy, and recall that this is due to, for half of the time, the watch is dozing. The awake state consumes around 27% of the overall energy, and recall that only 2% of the time the watch is awake. And this tells us that a small increase in the wake-up state will be amplified from the energy consumption perspective. So we further compute the energy power on different states across all the users, and find out that a fully charged watch can last for about around 42 hours. So this might sound like a reasonable battery lifetime, but it's still very short compared to a down watch, which can last for several months. So to improve the smartwatch energy efficiency, we studied 4 optimization methods, which are tuning the state machine timers, optimizing the OLED display, boundary to delay-tolerant push notifications, and building workload with CPU configurations for the smartwatch CPUs. So our trace-thread robotic analysis revealed their energy impact on real smartwatch workloads. So due to time limit, I will leave the optimization details in the paper. We also perform comprehensive network traffic characterization for the smartwatch. And here I will highlight some key results. So for the device we deployed in our user study, it is equipped with both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth interface. For most of the time, the watch is paired with the phone. And when I say paired, it means the watch uses the phone as a gateway to access the external network. And most of the traffic is actually delivered over Bluetooth. And among the Bluetooth traffic, 89% is downlink with the direction from phone to watch. So for protocol level breakdown, please refer to our paper. We further characterize the Bluetooth traffic flows, and we find that compared to smartphone traffic, the smartwatch traffic flows are small and short, since 77% of the flows are smaller than 2 kilobytes, and 53 of the flows are shorter than 1 second. The smartwatch Bluetooth flow are also very slow, since the average uplink rate is around 6 kilobits per second, and the average downlink flow rate is around 15 kilobits per second. And besides that, the smartwatch Bluetooth flow are highly bursty. And by doing a control experiment, we find that the handover between Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is poorly supported on the smartwatch. And again, I will link the details in the paper. So the takeaway for network traffic is that the watch and phone appear during most of the daytime, and most of the watch flows are slow, short, and bursty. And the handover between Wi-Fi and Bluetooth definitely needs to be improved on smartwatch. We do have limitations in our user study. First, we lack device diversity, since all the users in our user studies use same type of device. And second, the participants has limited diversity, since most of them are students and faculties. And last but not least, the Android Layer 2.0 is available earlier this year, and it introduced several new features to enhance both user experiences and energy efficiency. We plan to study them in our future work. So to summarize, we conduct the first comprehensive measurement study of the smartwatch usage in a while. And we mainly focus on 3 key aspects of the smartwatch, which are usage patterns, energy consumption, and network traffic. We identify unique features of the smartwatch that is quite different from the smartphone, and we further provide key knowledge and hints for future system design. And that concludes my talk. Thank you very much. I will take questions.